Mike, turn your games down.
Hi, Boo, episode 328 of Games My Mom Found. I am Mike Albertin, and who's the 10-year-old going out on an adventure with me tonight?
Everybody, it's Kendal.
Where can people find you at, Kendal?
You can find everything I do at kendalcast.ninja, also Kendalcast Network on YouTube. I do podcasts, including a little show called Beyond Bulbasaur, which is sort of like if Bob Ross, the Joy of Painting, was painting a picture of a Pokemon in MS Paint. Yeah, just recently released the episode on Haunter.
Okay. Yeah, I do like your MS Paint pictures. There's no happy trees, though.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, maybe. I think there was one I did with trees, but it wasn't. It was before I started. Because what I do is, if you watch the video version, is I actually do an edited version of me drawing. I do an MS Paint art of each Pokemon that I talk about, and I do an edited visual version of me actually doing the drawing. If you watch the video version, I've done that for about the last. I think there's like 60 episodes, and for probably about the last 10 episodes, I've been.
Hey, that's still better than my video content I made.
But
there isn't any.
Yeah,
so there's a couple, but it didn't last long. So we are here to talk about Pokémon Black and Pokémon White, developed by Games Freak, published by Nintendo in the world besides Japan, and came out in 2011. God, that game's older than I realized it was. So I always start these off with our memories. I had never touched this game before. I knew nothing about it going into it. I just knew this is another gen, and here we go. That was it.
So you and I are the same age, and so our Pokemon like timeline, I think, is very relevant because we're the age where we got into the Pokemon fandom as kids.
Yes.
But pretty quickly we were ridiculed for it.
Yes.
So I was in fifth grade when Red and Blue versions started to get popular, and then like sixth grade, kind of the beginning of sixth grade, that's when I got my Game Boy Color and I actually got the games and, played it. And then in seventh grade, Silver version came out and I played it, but I kind of had to hide it from people. And
then
I played, like, I always think back of playing Red version, like just starting a new game every time my family would go on vacation in high school. And then just like over the course of the week-long vacation, just like kind of powering through that game, because it didn't have as many options at the time.
No,
but
it's not that long of a game.
But my wife is a little bit older than me. And so she did not have any Pokemon experience as a kid. Like she was sort of, and her younger sister is also a little bit older than me. So Pokemon kind of missed their family. And I was, starting to get, and so I kind of was like, hey, let's try to get into Pokemon. And I bought Red and Blue version and had us play Red and Blue version on our respective Game Boys. And I don't think it really hooked her, but that Christmas,
time and place.
That Christmas, she scrimped and saved, and both of us were broke. So it was one of the most generous gifts that she ever has gotten me. She got me a 3DS and got herself a 3DS and got me Black version and her White version.
Aww.
And we played through those together.
It's a sweet story.
Yeah. And so Black version was, all that to say, Black version was kind of the first Pokemon game that I played as an adult without, kind of a little bit divorced from nostalgia.
Okay.
And it's a good game.
But which version did you play for this episode?
So I did play White version because I had played Black version in the past.
Okay.
But yeah, I did end up playing White version. I got permission to use my wife's White version, but then I ended up emulating it because I got an emulation handheld. But nice. I do technically have access to the original one, so not it's not illegal. It's just a backup copy of my wife's copy of the
Nintendo was very concerned about a game that they have yet to re-release again when they would make money. So I wouldn't worry about that.
Yeah.
I mean, it is a crime that these games are not re-released on like Switch and stuff, like it is a crime because people would buy them. Me being one of them. So, and I don't even buy physical games really anymore. So, and I would buy this. Crime. All right. So I ended up playing white because I played black because you mentioned that you were playing white. So then I'm like, oh, I'll just pick black because I was thinking about it anyway, and I wanted to play different Pokemon games. Mm-hmm. I forgot to look up what the differences are in the games. Like if there's any big differences other than I'm assuming a few Pokemon are different.
I want to say that there's supposed to be a difference in the aesthetic, but I don't remember.
I know there's some post-game stuff that's different, but I did, and a couple legendaries, or one legendary for sure is different.
The legendary.
But I didn't pay any attention. I'm not sure what I wanted to look up, and it looks like we have a wild Pokemon that just joined us.
Yes, it's a Kyle.
Welcome, Kyle.
Hello. Sorry about the late.
Oh, you're fine. We just started not too long ago.
I just flew in with my Pidgeotto. Sorry about that. It's still.
Hey, there's no Pidgeotto in this game.
Post game. You got it in the post game, right?
Yeah, exactly. I got it.
What's the bird in this game?
It's cute. I really love it, but I forgot the name.
Me too. I used it and beat the game with it, and I can't even tell you the name.
He's so cute, though. I like his little nose. Like his little nose is so cute.
And Kyle, what is your history with Pokemon Black and White?
Well, I was pretty excited for this when it first came out, and I got it when it did. I got it like pretty new, like a few days into the release, and I liked it, but goddamn, this game is really hard. And honestly, I'm not going to say it hasn't aged well. It's aged mostly well, but it's a little slow to start things off. And
that's Pokemon.
I feel like a lot of the other modern Pokemon games still play a little better than this at most times.
All right,
this game is solid and it's good, but like it's a little too slow to start things off. And I don't know. Like I feel like I wish it could have aged a bit more gracefully.
Okay, I looked up the differences between the versions based on a Google search. I think it's actually an AI Google search, so
it is.
We'll take it.
Don't use Google. Like Google does that shit, and it's awful.
Well, but it looks. I think it's right. So there's version exclusive Pokemon. The big thing is that certain locations in white version have a more rural look, and certain locations in black version have a more futuristic look.
No, that's cool.
All right.
Post game, it has Black City versus White Forest.
Yeah.
The 8th gym leader is different.
Yeah.
And then whether N chooses Reshiram or Zekrom.
I figured that was different. Yeah, based on whatever version you're playing. So I actually listened to you, Kendal, when we first started our Pokemon series. I was playing them all emulated. Well, this is emulated, but I was playing them on my phone. Yeah. And I would have fast forward speed. He's like, "You're not playing Pokemon the right way. You're not getting that experience." So for Platinum and for this one, I played it on original DS hardware, not a legit copy, but original DS hardware. And it was, it took me 40 hours to get through this game. And it was actually kind of nice. Like I would just be somewhere, maybe watching some TV and just be grinding out levels in the slowness of Pokemon. And I loved it personally. Like, I'm like, this is fine.
So what I did is I also took my own advice because have I just done 2? Was it just,
you did Platinum, you did Crystal and Emerald.
Platinum and Crystal and Emerald. Okay. So I've done 3. All 3 of those, I ran out of time. Like I started too late and I tried to rush through and I feel like because of that, I was rushing. Either if I was on original hardware, then I just didn't get, I think I got like 6 badges in Crystal or something like that. But if I was on emulated, then I was like focused on just getting fast. I started this like a month ago. And just kind of played it. I also recently got an emulation handheld, so I was able to play it, 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there, a little bit more.
That's the right way.
And it was a great experience. My biggest mistake was that I accidentally nicknamed Tepig because I clicked the wrong button, and then it locked me into giving him a nickname.
Oh no!
So my Tepig's name is Porky. Which is actually fine. I just now don't know the names of his evolutions.
I was just gonna say, would it seem less creative of me if I would have named my Tipig? I got a Tipig. I didn't nickname it, but I was thinking of nicknaming it. Would it be less creative of me to simply call him Oink? It's like, I don't know, like, I just think that'd be such a cute nickname for him. Oink.
So you're saying that you got a T-Pig, Kendall got a T-Pig, I got a T-Pig, so that means he wins the March Madness tournament, right, Kendall?
How can you not pick T-Pig? He's so cute! Look at him! I want to blow raspberries on his little belly. Look at him!
I like him, too. And I also like fire types.
Yeah. I was like kind of meh on fire types, but like T-Pig is fucking awesome. He's so cute.
I mean, he's the reason I beat the game.
Yeah.
He took out the Elite Four in the end for me, pretty much. Just him on his own almost. So
nice.
Because
I played. That's the other thing that I did in this game because I was like, I'm not even going to try to train my Pokemon evenly. I'm just going to only use my starter as much as I can, like a little kid. And because I just figured others will naturally get some experience, or I'll get to a wild area, or if they don't, then I'll get to a wild area where they're outclassed, and I'll just replace them with a wild Pokemon from there. And that actually worked. It worked pretty well. I mean, eventually I did have to get a couple other ones that were pretty close. But yeah, my is it Embor?
Embor.
My Embor was like level 70 by the time I beat the Elite Four the first time.
Nice.
Okay. I think mine was close to that. I did the strategy of I would get certain types and I'd be like, okay, you're part of my team now because I need you for a gym, so I'll level you up. And that was kind of my strategy, and I was trying to keep them around the samest level, but then after a while, they were all about their 60s, about 59, 60, where everyone ended up, even the weaker ones on my team, where Embor was in the 70s. I could check this but I don't want to pull out my DS. So
yeah, I've got mine right here.
I think it's funny we all picked T-Pig, though. That is cool.
Yeah.
Oh, what version did you play, Kyle?
I played Black.
Okay. I don't think that's what I played, too.
So Porky was level 71. But yeah, everybody else was super low leveled. Seismitoad was 53. Behemoth was 50. Zebstrika was 45 and completely useless.
All the
Zekrom,
Zebra?
Yeah. Which I remembered being like really good in a previous playthrough, and just it did not.
I liked him, but if they weren't weak to electric, he was going down first.
Yeah, Zekrom was a 50 and Drudagon is a 50. Yeah, but it's interesting that Zach said that they felt like it didn't age well, because I actually feel like this is like, now I understand why people said that Pokemon got better over time, because this was one of the best experiences playing a Pokemon game ever that I've ever had. It has like all the quality of life stuff, which is like, TMs don't get used up. There are HMs, but they're not overly used. There's minimal like side game stuff. It has it has a whole new Pokedex, which I love. I love that you don't even get it has a whole new Pokedex, which is great, and the Pokedex doesn't suck like Gen 3. Like you
don't see old Pokemon till post game, which I think is wonderful, because I would have went down the usual. I would have used some of my Pokemon I know, and I was forced to use Pokemon I don't know, and that was a good thing.
Well, I always try to go with the version with the new Pokemon when I play a new version.
I'm not good at that.
But it's hard to do sometimes, and especially because they just don't give you the choices. And yeah, I love the Gen 5 Pokedex. The Team Plasma story is a wild choice. It's crazy to me that they would like acknowledge that maybe capturing Pokemon is bad.
It's a good story.
But it still has like the sort of contained template of a Pokemon game. Like, it's not like once you get to Gen 7 and beyond, and even Gen 6 to an extent, like they are trying to, because that's when people were saying, oh, we're just playing, it's just the same game every time. They try to kind of reinvent the wheel every time. And I'm not saying that they shouldn't. I'm not saying that those games are bad, but also this feels like the reason that they needed to make a big change in Gen 6 is because Gen 5 did it all right.
Yeah.
It's really good. The only issue that I had was I did think the beginning was a little bit slow, and specifically there were a lot of, you walk in this direction and then you suddenly are locked into essentially a cutscene, you know, like a
God,
dialogue.
I hated that. Like, I wish I could there be like a fast forward button, please? This is why I prefer emulation for RPG games. Like this shit. Come on.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. You are not wrong.
Yeah. But it's not even that is not as bad as like Gen 7.
What's Gen 7 again?
Alola, Sun and Moon.
Alola's fine. I like Alola.
Okay.
That's the only one that I could never finish because I got so frustrated with the tutorialization and the dialogue in Pokemon games is never like the best writing, but that one, like the dialogue is particularly insufferable. But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the
one thing that I want to bring up to Kyle's point earlier. Like Kyle, you said that this game has some issues that are fixed later on.
Yeah.
One thing, like for me, I have never. This is the farthest I have ever went with Pokemon in my life. Like everything up before this, I had played. This is the first brand new Pokemon game for me. Well, I did play Aloha, but I don't remember anything about it, so I forgot about that. So I think that also kind of colored some of my opinion on this because I don't know what's I don't really know what's coming, and I know X and Y people love.
I love X and Y. X and Y is honestly a little too easy. Like, it's surprisingly easy. Like, I was actually, when I beat it, I was like, wow, that felt honestly a bit way too easy. But X and Y is so much fun. And plus, like, it's like the first like full 3D game of Pokemon and like a mainline Pokemon game. And like the soundtrack is fantastic and it's so much fun. But yeah, like, I don't know, like, this game's fine and I like it, but like I felt like at times it's a little too hard and just like a little too slow.
No, that's fair. I mean, I didn't have a hard time for the most part, but I also grinded my ass off a couple times because this Pokemon is one of those games where I can easily just have it playing and hit buttons while I'm doing other things.
No, of course, yeah.
Just fine. We'll leave it at that. Other thing.
I get that too. Like if I'm doing like hardcore grinding, I'll like listen to a podcast like this fine podcast right here, Games My Mom Found. You can find it anywhere you find Sorry. I'm sorry. Sorry to...
hey, I will never tell someone not to plug me. Even in my own show, I plug stuff. So, hey, don't feel bad.
Yeah, I'll listen to this podcast, or I'll listen to other podcasts. Like, I'll listen to podcasts, or like, I don't know, like, I might read a book or something while I'm playing, and like, I'll have like one hand on my e-reader and the other one like clicking the button. So it's like, okay, yep, click, hit A.
Not the other one laying down a taxi cab?
Oh God.
Okay.
That's something that Gen 6 did that I don't think any Pokemon games did before or after.
Yeah.
Is Gen 6 would let you remap the controls so that your left trigger was the A button.
Right. Oh
so you could hold the game with one hand. You'd be rollerblading with your thumb and then use the A button with your pointer finger. And I don't think any games since then has done that.
Very Earthbound. Like that's so Earthbound. I love that.
Well, I've always said that Earthbound is just Pokemon without Pokemon.
Yeah, pretty much. Because I mean, like Earthbound did that first, and I love that Earthbound did that, and I'm happy when more games follow Earthbound in suit by doing that. Like, yeah, you can just totally play this one-handed. Like, fuck yeah, that's amazing. Like that's so genius. Oh my God.
I want to come back to the Team Plasma thing. So I don't know if I don't pay enough attention to group, but like this was one group where I'm like, I love how much they play a part in this story. They are everything that you were dealing with.
Yeah, yeah.
And I thought that was great.
I agree.
Really cool.
I also love Team Plasma's basic battle theme. That song kicks ass. Like I will like. It doesn't matter how many times I fought a fucking Team Plasma goon. Like when when I have to fight one, it's like, you know what? Okay, I'm turning the sound up. Let's fucking let's rock.
This game had sound?
Huh.
Yeah, come on. The Team Plasma battle music's awesome though. Come on. Like that
Pokemon is not one I can do sound in. I had sound on sometimes, but there gets to a point.
I get like after like if you're grinding, I get that, but like if I'm progressing the storyline or like doing a little bit of grinding, like I'll have the music on for a little bit. Then it's like, okay, then I'll take a break and listen to like a podcast or some other music or something.
One thing
I very rarely have the music on in Pokemon games, but
you know me, I'm not a big music guy for video games, but I would try. I think I did take Kyle's recommendation, and I did do kind of what you were just saying, where I tried to put it on for new areas. Yeah. And I tried to put it on and then I would get, but yeah, when it was grinding, that music went right off. I did not need to hear.
If you're doing grinding, it's going to take a while. So it's just like, yeah, okay, I'll put on like a podcast, or I don't know, like I'll put on some like make sure you're really comfortable while you're grinding too. Like get yourself a drink and a snack, and just make sure you're ready for that type of thing.
There's a lot of that. So when I play Pokemon games, I tend to have a particular style of team I use. Mm-hmm. Because of one of the gyms, I think they had an electric gym in here, I ended up using a ground Pokemon for the first time. That's not me. Really?
Because I've used ground before in Gen 1 and 2. I gotta be brutally honest with you guys, as much as I've loved Pokemon all of my life, I have like little to no fucking experience with Gen 3. It's not so much that like, oh, that's when I got out of Pokemon. Like, no, I was still like into Pokemon to a degree, but like, I don't know. I just couldn't connect with Ruby and Sapphire. And like, I like, it's not the game's fault per se, but there was just weird stuff going on in my life. And like, I didn't know if I was really connecting with it the way I connected it with Gens 1 and 2 and like the later generations too. Although like, I say that, but like, I now know I can totally go to Gen 3 and experience it for its own like, for its own sake. Because like, I mean, we have the
good series. Gen.
Yeah, it's a good gen, but also, we have like the remakes on 3DS, and I have full access to 3DS games. It's like, yeah, okay, cool. I can just experience this now. I don't have to worry about like, oh, am I into Pokemon anymore or whatever? Like, no, I can experience it on my own time. Cool, good, thank you.
You're doing a podcast with me about Pokemon. I'm pretty sure you're into Pokemon.
Oh, no, of course, yeah.
Oh, to let you know.
I've been a fan since I was 8 years old, and I first saw the cartoon and bought the Game Boy games at like Walmart or wherever. Like, yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Sorry.
No, we're all interrupting. It's fine. I mean, there's just there's something about the Gen 5 Pokedex. Mm-hmm. Like Gen 3, like to me is like one of the weakest. Gen 4 is pretty small. Gen 6 is great for a lot of reasons, but there's only like, I think there's like 69 new Pokemon in Gen 6.
Oh, that's low.
That is surprisingly.
But there's so many. I feel like Gen 5 is one of the only generations that has, like, for me at least, like Pokemon that are icons on the level of Gen 1, like Litwick.
Oh, totally.
Litwick
is so cute.
Is the Kendal ghost type Pokemon?
Yeah, Litwick is awesome. Okay, I love I apologize, I forgot its name, and I feel stupid considering I'm on this podcast, but like, I love that sand alligator so much. That thing is so fun.
Yeah, he beat the game for me.
Sandile, right?
Sandile is so cute. Like, he's just like,
not that version, but yeah.
I already love alligators and like crocodiles and stuff, and like that thing is just like, this is how you make an alligator or a crocodile cute. You make it into like a Pokemon, and it just looks so cute. Like, and then of course you have stuff like Tepig. Like, Tepig is just so
awesome.
Like, yes, and like I said before, like a Tepig is so cute. I just want to blow raspberries on its belly. Just like, that's so cute.
Also, Snivy, for the record, is awesome.
Yep,
Snivy.
Grass
based on Lucifer.
That's a joke for another podcast. But
grass type. Shut up, Mike.
I don't know. I like grass type. Okay, so I had a very bad grass type.
It's a thing. Snivy is based on Lucifer.
Yeah,
I had a very, very bad grass type in this game.
Anyway.
So is it just me, or those monkeys suck?
The monkeys suck. Yeah.
Okay, good. It wasn't just me. All right. Thank you.
Yeah. But also, they're kind of a fun idea.
No, they're a cool idea, but I took the grass one all the way to the Elite Four. Mm-hmm. And I don't think I should have done that. He got pretty useless near the end.
They're kind of, I missed them in my playthrough this time, but I do remember them being kind of presented almost as like a second starter.
Yeah, they are, because it's based on who your starter is, and which one you get, and then your two rivals, Bianca and Sharon, have the other two.
Yeah, I must have skipped that.
You have to talk to an NPC near the first town or second town, and there's a random NPC will give it to you. That's how that works.
Yeah, but they're not. But it's the hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil thing. It's a fun, it's a fun little thing, you know.
Just don't evolve them too soon, like I did, and they don't learn any new moves.
Well, yeah, of course. Once you evolve, they evolve with a stone.
Yep.
Yeah, once you evolve a Pokemon with a stone, it doesn't learn any more moves.
Yep. And some dumbass forgot that fact.
Oh, no.
That's why Pikachu was able to beat Raichu in the anime.
Yep.
I thought that's because he had plot armor.
No, it's because he didn't know the because Lieutenant Surge evolved his Raichu too soon, so he didn't learn like the speed-based attacks of Pikachu.
Yep.
That Pikachu learns, so he was able to, out strategize him with that. Speaking of the anime, I watched like 3 or 4 episodes of the anime, and it's pretty good.
Yeah, it is. Like, it's fun. It's a nice little sweet and fun like kid show that's like has like a fun little adventure element to it, and it's like it's really well done for what it is. There's a couple of latter seasons of the anime that I find a little boring and I just don't bother with, but like no, like often throughout time, it's always been a fun little watch. It's I have very fond memories of watching it when I was a kid, and like honestly, there's like I have like fond like memories of watching it. Like weirdly enough, with like people who I would never expect to watch like cartoons or anime or anything. Like for example, side little thing tangent. So my mom, she knew that I like loved Pokemon, and like she would kind of look at it and just be like, yeah, this is a kid's thing or whatever. And one time I asked her to record an episode for me early in the morning because she would wake up earlier than I would. And the episode that I knew was going to be airing was the first Jigglypuff episode where Jigglypuff, they find Jigglypuff and like they can't sing, and then like the kid Ash and Misty and Brock and are their Japanese names. They're trying to find a way to make it sing, and they try all this stuff, and then they finally get it. And then Jigglypuff gets mad and starts slapping everybody and drawing on their faces with the marker. And my mom watched that and she recorded it for me. And when she woke me up, she was like, "Oh my God, I recorded that, and I actually ended up watching it, and that was like one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life." Like my mom lost her shit at the scene of Jigglypuff just like slapping everybody.
Classic.
Because she's a mother and she wanted to do it herself, I'm sure. People.
But what I was saying is I watched the first few episodes of the black and white anime. Oh
yeah, nice.
Yeah.
It's a fun season.
Which I think I was impressed with, because when I watched the early seasons, and they are what they are. Like they're simultaneously excellent and terrible, and I can't tell where the nostalgia ends and the actual enjoyment begins and stuff. So like I can't be objective on those.
No, of course.
And yeah, there's been some stuff, modern stuff, like the I Choose You movie was amazing. But like the Gen 6 anime I think was pretty terrible. Some of the
Gen 6 was X and Y, right?
X and Y, yeah.
Right. Yeah, X and Y, the anime was kind of but I remember, oddly enough, even though I know like people didn't like the games of that generation that much, I remember Sun and Moon, the anime, being actually really fun, like really good.
I think the only anime episodes I've seen of that were when we were doing an Alolan Pokemon for Beyond Bulbasaur, but
okay.
But I didn't. The only thing is I didn't get far enough in the black and white anime, because the reason I wanted to watch it was, which by the way, it's on Tubi.
Nice. Okay.
The reason I wanted to watch it was because I wanted to know how they handled Team Plasma in the anime, but I didn't get far enough.
Yeah, that'd be interesting to watch, see if they would still handle that with like that way in like a kid's anime, like
because the thing is the Pokemon is cockfighting.
Yeah.
And like that is bad, but it's also a video game, and you can suspend your disbelief when you're playing a video game.
Yeah.
Like and stuff, but it's always so weird. And like this is like the old like Batman would would help Gotham better if he spent his money on civil services as opposed to punching criminals. Yeah. Like it's like we're all willing to suspend that disbelief, but if you poke at it, if you try to challenge it in the fiction, that just kind of brings attention to it. You have to be really careful.
No, of course. Yeah.
I did a YouTube short on this, and like there's an interaction between Juniper and N that like feels like, especially in the 2025 political climate, feels like the absolute, like the bad guy is right, the good guy is wrong. Like Juniper's like, well, I believe that we should, treat Pokemon this way, and you believe that what I'm doing hurts the Pokemon, and both of our opinions are equally valid, and we can just agree. And then N is like, no, I'm not gonna. So you're saying, I mean, I think that what you are doing hurts Pokemon, and I care about Pokemon, so I'm not going to stop. And then like it's to the end, and I almost wanted to lose to N in the final battle just to see what would happen. But like,
I'm assuming game over.
It just blacks you out. I'm sure it just blacks you out. And you fight him again. But but like that. But like, I guess the idea is, but it's like if Pokemon have enough agency, like enough like sentience that they can choose that they want to be. That they want to be working with humans and they want to be fighting or whatever.
Yeah.
Then it's slavery instead of cockfighting, which is also bad. But it's like, and it's like, I don't know. I just got these like really weird vibes. I mean, PETA made a game based on this.
Oh yeah.
Like it's such a weird choice. And I mean, I do think since then they have kind of gone out of their way to make Pokemon games feel and like bend backwards in the lore to make it like Pokemon battling is just one piece of the puzzle and and everything. And I also like the other thing is like every single Pokemon game ever, like all you are doing is just capturing Pokemon against their will and forcing them to fight. But every game they tell you that you show that you really care about your Pokemon. And I say this as my Pidgey HM slave fainted once right after I caught him and I never bothered to heal him. Like or I use Pokemon until I find a stronger one in the wild and then put it away in the box and never see it again. Like definitely not, it's definitely not that. So it's just, I don't know. It's just it's such a weird choice to be like, to have it's like you got to suspend your disbelief. And like, if the people in the world don't suspend their disbelief, but also like, I kind of like it that they did it once.
Yeah.
And it's memorable. Other than Team Rocket, how many of the teams do you remember?
Yeah, true.
Like,
that's a good point.
Like, yeah, like
no, they're not as memorable. I mean, you are 100% right, and this is one that is very memorable. Like, I think they're going to stick with me for a long time.
Like, I remember that in Gen 6, there's the guy with the red hair, and he's a pretty a big character, but I don't remember anything about the actual like villain plot there. Ruby and Sapphire are the water people and the volcano people.
Yes, depending on which version you're playing.
Team Aqua, I think.
Yeah,
I think so.
And then Gen 4 is it's some sort of apocalyptic thing.
We just played that when we played it last year. I don't remember with them. I mean, this one, Platinum stuck with me, though. I don't know. Something about just the way they are. It just really stuck with me.
And then Gen 8 are soccer fans, and Gen 9, they're your friends.
Yeah.
It's not real. They're not even really bad guys. They're just misunderstood.
Yeah.
I do look forward to playing more.
That's a spoiler, but, whatever. I do. Man, Gen 9 is so good.
So, one thing that this game made me realize, too, is that I feel like they pushed the DS a little bit to what it could do. Because, man, do they love bridges in this game.
Yep.
Bridges and towers and that, whatever, I don't know what that you call that, where it would, like, move the camera around as you go upstairs. I loved it. I really, really liked it. Oh, I can't be the only one. I thought it was super cool.
I don't know. I with stuff like that, sometimes stuff like that is hard for me because it's like, I don't really have a feel for exactly what the hardware is capable of. So it's like, it looks cool, I guess, but like other stuff looks cooler. Also, I have never turned on an actual DS. I got a 3DS, and all the DS games I've ever played have been on a 3DS. So
okay,
I have no sense for what a DS.
Okay, I think that's fair. What a DS can do or not do. Of. Okay.
Yeah, so I'm glad that was exciting.
It really was to me. I don't have an answer to why
kind of thing.
It was, but it was. It was a strange thing that I was like, they went all out in this game with that.
Yeah. It definitely, you can see how the next game going to like full blown 3D, like how that's not that big of a jump. Like there are a handful of elements in this game that make it that see how like that you can kind of see where they're going with the style of the game going forward.
I think that's fair. I've never played past this gen, but I'm excited to play more. I felt this game was just really good all around. The legendaries, I didn't mess with any of the legendaries, but is this the one that first has the genies then?
Yes.
Okay.
And I think you can. I think I do remember that they're like roaming, and the way they handle the roaming, chasing them after with roaming, is better than in previous generations. It's more doable. Like I remember the legendary dogs in Gen 2 are like impossible to find.
Yeah, they are.
Like, you just have to walk around for hours and hours and hours and hours, and then they run away immediately anyway.
Yep.
But I definitely caught the genies in my original playthrough back, years ago. I really like one thing that I really like and that I didn't engage with on this playthrough was the post game. You've got the little secret agent guy helping you track down, I think his name's Looker. You help him track down the last remaining people from Team Plasma, and then you can fight the Elite Four with their level 76 Pokemon teams, and which I had kind of wanted to do it, but I was kind of like, okay, I feel like I've played this game now. Like I do have other games that I want to play now. I
wanted to do that, but then I just turned the game off instead.
Mm-hmm. But I like that it's there because
me too.
I think post game content is really important in Pokemon games because you do oftentimes want to at least pretend like you're going to try to catch them all, and your Pokemon get higher level, and you want bigger challenges, and your Pokemon can go up to level 100, so you may as well have Pokemon that you fight. One of my favorite Pokemon experiences recently was a ROM hack that I played of Gen 1, where you had to, after you beat the game, first of all, like it was the Twitch Plays Pokemon hack. Look it up. It's awesome.
Yeah.
You can catch all 151 Pokemon in one sitting, and like everything is higher level and everything is more diverse, and it's a great experience. But there's you do your victory lap sort of like you would in Gen 2, where you fight the trainers again, the gym leaders again, but this time all of their Pokemon are all level 100.
Oh, okay. I don't know how I feel about that, but all right.
Well, and I mean your Pokemon are pretty close to level 100 at this point too, because you've been fighting Pokemon at high level throughout the whole game. But it basically uses the whole levels, Okay. It uses all of the levels.
I know what you mean.
It uses the entire buffalo. And then you end up, actually the final boss of it is fighting Professor Oak, which is pretty cool. But
I also really like the trainers in this game. I want to say, or the gym leaders. I want to say gym leaders. I really like the gym leaders. I think that the first gym, the fact that it varies depending on what starter you have affects the gym leader. I think that is a really cool touch for your first gym. I was impressed with that.
I liked that they brought them back throughout the game. I thought that was
cool too.
That's they've done it I think they've done it in other versions since then, at least. I don't know if they've done it before, but I really liked, there's a whole bunch of Team Plasma people at the end, and then all the gym leaders show up and they're like, we'll fight them. Like that was like a legit, for any game, that was a powerful story moment.
It was a really good feel good moment.
There are a lot of really good, really interesting story beats in this, and that's one of them. I really think. I mean, it legitimately did kind of when the guy with the beard is like, well, what are we going to do if Pokemon are separated from people? It's going to completely destroy our society, and the Pokemon are going to be worse for it, and we're going to be worse for it. I don't know what's it actually made me kind of sort of feel something. Now granted, part of that was maybe I should let it all burn. But
I do want to say that
that's the world we live in. That's 2025 for you.
Having N as the way that the stuff goes down with him, like after you beat the Elite Four, you don't just fight him. You end up having to go to his castle, which is like a little dungeon that just you go through a couple places and then you go and fight him eventually. I thought that was a really nice touch too, because it was so unique. We haven't done that before. Even just being able to fight the Elite Four in any order. I think this was the first one that did that. Yeah. I really like that because the way that I play Pokemon games and the way that part of the reason that I've bounced off of
certain other JRPGs, because I can't do this, is that I take my level 5 Charmander and I say, you're going to beat the Elite Four. And I just fight the Elite Four with my level 5 Charmander until he's a level 100 Charizard, and I can beat them all. You know, like I just, wherever my Pokemon are at, even if they're woefully underleveled and they can only, like, I have killed Lorelei's Dugong probably more than any other Pokemon in all Pokemon, because usually you can, if you get your Pikachu in there in Gen 1, if you get your Pikachu in there, you can take out Dugong with a Thunderbolt, but then whoever the next Pokemon she sends out is completely wipes out your whole team. And then once you can do, and then you can do one, maybe you can do two. I got that EXP share, so I got to where Tepig could take out I think it was the dark type, or is dark fighting as strong as dark, right?
I don't know. Kyle, how's your Pokemon knowledge?
I'm a little dumb on this gen.
Fighting is strong against dark. I'm confident.
Okay. I don't know. So I can tell you all the original gen stuff, but after that, I'm less knowledgeable.
Yeah. Just remember that fighting sucks in Gen 1, and so they needed to make it strong against one of the new types. That's how you can remember that fighting is good against dark. But so I got the EXP share and just kind of passed it around while Tepig took out, 3 of the 4 dark type Pokemon, and then the 4th one came out and wiped everybody out on my whole team, and I grind, and that is my favorite kind of grinding. Like, that was, as much as I enjoyed this whole game, like that, like, couple of days where I was just banging my head against the Elite Four, it was so great. And being able to do them in a different order is nice. Is so cool too, because like you get one of your Pokemon gets to a high enough level, and it's like, oh, so now I can take out the dark type guy, and I was going to the ghost type guy next, but I can't beat the ghost type guy. Let's try the fighting type guy. Oh, I can beat all of his guys, and so then you can get 2, and then you're getting 2 trainers worth of experience every time you do a run, and then you just kind of work your way up until your Pokemon are strong enough. And that's just, that loop is just so, I mean, fighting the Elite Four is fun no matter what. Like, that's,
But this was a better loop.
Yeah. This was just so much, so great. And you're just always, I just love that you're always making progress, because you're taking out a few, even if, and there's no, you don't have to go through a level to get there. Oh, something else that I did on this playthrough that I've never done before. Yes. And I only did it while I was doing grinding, and it makes me the worst person in the world, is I did turn off battle animations.
Oh, I didn't know you could do that.
What that means is, and this is in the game, it's not a ROM hack thing.
No, I know it's in the game.
Is literally like, instead of having it go and like showing the little animation of the fire going and zooming in on the Pokemon, and then doing the damage.
Blasphemy.
It just says, Tepig use flamethrower, and then it just does the damage. Or uses whatever the backhand or whatever the fighting type move that he has. It hit 4 times, and then it just does the thing, and it speeds up. It makes battles take half as long.
Yes, but you're taking away part of next time you play Pokemon card, or not Pokemon card, but next time you play Star Wars cards, I want them all be little hand-drawn squares with no pictures, just the name of the card. How about you?
I have definitely done that before when I'm grinding.
I get it.
Well, because we all have to. The cutting, the hand cutting things is actually a big part of Star Wars, and there are, yes, sometimes because it's a C-slip, you don't cut out the little white part of the paper, and it is just little things. Or you put a little, or you don't want to, anyway, but you don't want to hear about that.
Okay. No, that's fine.
But yes, it does take some of the fun out of it. It does take some of the fun out of it, but if you're grinding and you need it to just go a little faster, it actually does, it does make a difference. So just, keep that in mind.
Kyle, I wanted to ask you if you did anything different like this playthrough, what some of the Pokemon that you used were?
I used Tepig. I used a couple other ones. Here's the thing. I actually still haven't beaten the game yet. I've been playing the past month and a half, and yeah, I still haven't beaten it yet. This game is tough.
It is. I mean, I was using a lot of I didn't have too bad of a time, but I over-leveled, and I ended up getting lucky on a lot of stuff. Like the Elite Four, I just pummeled them through items, because one of the Elite, or one of the champions, or No, whoever's not N, but I think the sage with N, he had a Pokemon that beat the shit out of me and took out my team that I barely won. Some Dragon Pokemon. Dragon Pokemon suck. I hate fighting Dragon Pokemon.
Drudagon, who, by the way, my Drudagon was level 50. I said, just for the record, I had Porky level 71, Seismitoad level 53, Behemoth level 50, Zebstrika level 45, Zekrom level 50, and Drudagon level 50. I like Drudagon a lot too. It's nice to have just like a dragon that looks like a dragon. It's like a dragony dragon. Like, I mean, not that there haven't been a bunch of those throughout Pokemon history, but I didn't use any dragons. He's nice. He looks like a dragon. He fights like a dragon. He doesn't evolve from anything or to anything. He's just a dragon. His name even kind of sounds like dragon. Like, I love him so much. Yeah, I like dragon types a lot.
I do too. I don't use them because you never really get them till late in the game, and then by then I'm already kind of like situated with who I'm going to use. It's how I play Pokemon games. I'm not saying it's right, but it's how I play Pokemon games.
Mm-hmm.
You don't use Gyarados?
I have before, but not. But I mean, I use Dragon types when I used him, it was Gen 1. He wasn't a Dragon type yet. But it all depends on how early I get you, because by the time I get late game, I have my team already kind of predisposed, and that's just how I play.
That's such a bad way to play.
Agreed.
You should, because the thing is that the Pokemon you catch at the beginning of the game are bad.
Agreed. Can be, yes.
They have bad base stat totals, and so they don't learn as good of attacks. And they not only get outclassed level-wise, but also just like on their stats and things.
That's why in this playthrough, I didn't really pick a team till later in the game.
Mm-hmm. I think you have to wait. I think you have to wait at least until, usually most games you get to a point where like suddenly there's a million Pokemon to choose from.
I didn't even have a water type. This entire playthrough, I never got a water type that became part of my team. And that's not like me. I always get a water type. I just didn't find one that interested me. I had a fish, but I'm like, I don't like you, fish. You're not cool enough to be on my team.
I like Seismitoad was my...
Isn't he water ground?
Yeah, which is cool. I think that's part of the reason why Zebstrika sucks so much, because one of the most common water types that you run into is water ground.
Yeah, in this game they do that a lot, and he's hard to beat.
I think one of the starters water ground. No, it's not.
No, the starter in this is that little otter guy, Oswald, right? Isn't that his name?
Oswald,
yes. Thank you. He's cute. I didn't use him, but he's a cute Pokemon.
Mm.
Yeah, the starters in this one are pretty good. I think, Oshawott is my least favorite. Snivy is my favorite, and Tepig is fine.
Tepig's the best.
Eh.
We all picked him, so he must be doing something right.
Yeah.
Well, I picked him specifically to go against my normal patterns.
Oh.
But, yeah.
I picked him because I could.
Yeah, well, I think, when you're playing Pokemon games over and over again, you just you decide if is this going to be a playthrough where I'm going to play my regular play style, or is this going to be a playthrough where I kind of try to challenge myself? Is this one where I'm going to be like, people do the Nuzlocke stuff, but you can challenge yourself other ways besides that. You can be like, well, I'm not gonna use my starter. Like, first time I played through X and Y, I put my Chespin in the box first as my first action, and then just played through with just the Pokemon that I could catch, and that was a lot of fun. I don't know if I've actually done that since then, which I should. But I think it's because I'm not playing I used to play like 3 Pokemon games a year. Now it's down to like 1 or 2.
When someone asks you to play it for a podcast.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So like that, and then like I really like. There's some really cool ROM hacks out there.
There are. I mean, one thing I got to say about Pokemon Black and White is after playing this one, like normally I don't have this, but I immediately I changed the schedule, so we're doing Pokemon Black and White 2 later this year because I want more, and that is not usually me with Pokemon. But there was just something about this game. Having all the new Pokemon, it just felt good for me, and I just really got into it.
Black and White
way
2
more than I expected.
Also, I think Black and White 2 are real good. Also,
that's what I heard too. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to playing those and seeing where it goes. Very excited. So for that,
trying to think if I had any other things. Yeah, I mean, it's good. The game's good. The quality of life stuff is great. Before we started recording, I said that this bumped up in my ranking, and my ranking of Pokemon games probably changes daily. There's a few that are down pretty low, that are the pretty low ones, and there's a few that are pretty high, that are, you know, pretty high ones. But like, you know, if it's a Pokemon game at all, it's going to be one of the greatest games I've ever played in my life, except for Gen 7. But so before we played, I did a ranking, and Gen 5 was number 5 on my list of the 9 generations.
Oh, right
and
in the middle.
Now it's number 2.
Okay, nice. Oh, I do want to talk about
this was one of the most fun playthroughs of a Pokemon game that I've had in a long time.
I want to talk about the legendary. So I didn't catch any of them other than the one that the game kind of forces you to. So I kind of want to hear about what you... So I know one of them is Victini, looks like a Pikachu type thing, but I mean, I know it's not, but that's what it reminds me of. Did anybody go after any of the legendaries, or like in the past, not saying this playthrough, but in your previous playthroughs?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
Let me see which ones they are.
But
I'm pretty sure that I have done all of them.
There's Vicinity, there's Reshiram and Zekrom, which are the dragons that you get automatically through the course of the game at the very end, which I think is a nice way to do it, that you're given one of them. Then there's Cobalion, Terrakion, and Vizeron, which are like 4-legged. I don't know what the hell they're supposed to be.
They're the 3 Musketeers.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So those are the 3. I believe those are the 3 Musketeers, and then there is another one that's supposed to be whoever the 4th Musketeer is, but I don't remember if that's supposed to be Victini or if it's something else. But yeah, I have definitely caught all of these except for maybe Victini. Yeah, like I said, the Curum. I don't think I've.
Curum is like that's like the big dragon Pokemon. That's kind of like this version's Mewtwo, right? I think it's a good way to put it.
I've caught him.
Oh, I threw my Master Ball at the dragon that you get, because you don't have to, because he has 100%. You will catch him no matter what. He won't run away. But I'm like, I don't have time for this shit. I'm turning the game off once this is over with, so I'm using my Master Ball here.
Yeah, I put a lot of time into the post game of Black version 10 years ago or something. And yeah, I think I've caught all of them. If Curum is like reasonably catchable, I probably caught him. I'm not sure. I know I caught the 3 Musketeers, and I caught the genies. And then I didn't have Zekrom or Reshiram or whichever one.
Okay.
And I don't think I caught Victini. I think that Victini is hard to catch.
I mean, there's always, random shit they make you do for Pokemon games. And there's the 3, the roaming ones in this game are the 3 genies, or 2 of the genies roam, I guess. So kind of like what you're talking about with the dogs earlier from a previous game.
Yeah. Yeah, but they're easier to find than that. Yeah, so you had to do like something with the Wi-Fi to get Victini. And
that's no fun.
Yeah, so I don't think I did that.
Okay. I didn't bother with any legendaries. I just wanted this game to be done. Not that I wasn't enjoying myself, but I'm like, I have other games to play. So that was my
Yeah. I do remember, well, because what I think it was that my original playthrough, I wanted to beat the Elite Four with the high level Elite Four. And so I had to, or something. I remember specifically really struggling with one of the Elite Fours in my original playthrough. And so I was like, okay, well, I'm going to just see if there's any legendary Pokemon. And I had to look up how to catch the Musketeers. And I caught at least one of them. And he was I remember him being a ringer on my team, which you catch him at level 42. So that must have been the first time through the Elite Four.
Yeah, you can just, once you beat the Elite Four in this game, you also get access to a whole other part of the continent too. Also, we haven't talked about it yet, but this one is supposed to be based on New York. I think somebody had told me.
America. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. But I think someone actually told me it was based on New York, like specifically New York area, but I can't remember who said that.
I've always heard America, which is probably why I like the Pokemon designs. But like, I mean, the genies are like Twisters, and the 3 Musketeers is a very American thing, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. And politics is very American.
Mm-hmm.
Animal rights is very American idea.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else we should say about this game? We talked about legendaries. I mean, we talked a little about all the gyms and the Pokemon in general, and our teams, and running out of stuff.
So in general, do you guys like that they started with a completely new Pokedex, and would you like to see that in the next mainline game? Because we haven't done that. They haven't done. This is the last time they did that.
Yes, and yes.
Wow.
Yes and yes also.
I love going back to my old favorites of old favorite Pokemon, but I'd love to see a new game. Just kind of bringing a whole new generation of Pokemon.
It was more fun than I thought it would be, not to be able to shoehorn into some of my previous picks, knowing what and also the fact that whenever a trainer would use a Pokemon, I had no idea what was coming because I don't know the Pokemon in this game. So
that's actually a good point. I think in later generations, when they actually, this is a quality of life thing in later generations, that it will actually tell you what Pokemon typing your opponent has.
Oh,
because that's the only. I mean, it may only do it, and it may only do it if you've technically seen it before or something like that.
Part of the fun is knowing out of sheer memory because you played too many Pokemon games.
Because I do remember struggling the first time I played through this and being you see a shark and you assume it's a water type, but it's actually a dark ghost type or something. I literally, this time I did not realize that one of the Elite Four Pokemon was Ghost and Ground as their typing. And I had just been using fire type moves on him for the last 15 years because every time I ran into him, I thought he was Steel type because he was a silverish color. And then I used an electric move on him and it said that it was not not affected by that move. And I was like, wait, what? And then I used a fighting move or a normal move or something, and it wasn't affected by that. I was like, oh, it's Ghost Ground.
That's a weird choice, though. So I get where you're coming from.
But yeah. So I think that's the downside of all new Pokemon is that you don't always know the typing. And then the other thing is that's, and I'm a little bit devil's advocate because I agree with you guys that I really like about this game. I wouldn't want every game to be like this, but that's why there's 10 different generations. But Gen 6 goes the other direction where there's not that many new Pokemon, before you have 3 badges, you can have 150 Pokemon that you encounter. There are 500 Pokemon in Gen 6 that are obtainable within 1 copy of the game. So so you end up with just you're not running into the same Pokemon over and over again in Gen 6. And so that's the other side, that's the other direction that they can go. And I mean, I think that both directions are valid and it's cool that they did it here and I would like to see it again. But also there's a lot of Pokemon already and just using all the Pokemon that are already there.
There are a lot of Pokemon. There's a lot more. Any last things you want to say, Kyle?
No, not really. I liked this and I had fun with it. It's not my favorite generation, but I respect it a whole bunch. I love all the opportunities it takes. I love that it starts with a whole new Pokédex. And yeah, I wish a new Pokemon game would also start with a new Pokédex as well. I think that'd be really cool.
Okay.
Oh, also I played a ROM hack of Gen 1 where it had all the Gen 5 Pokemon in it and it was fun.
Oh, cool. Nice.
That was really cool when you showed that.
Yeah, I posted a few screenshots in the Facebook chat a while back.
Yeah, no, I like that. All right. I did get some questions, comments, and memories. We'll go to that next. People did have stuff to say, and I was happy with that because when I do these games, I never know what I'm gonna get. I never know what people's opinions are gonna be, if they're gonna be no memories. And I really like reading what people have to say. So first I watched the entire Orblood Super Replay group from Danielle Melman, friend of the show. I fell off Pokemon as a kid, and Black started the trend of me trying a new Pokemon once every decade, realized I can't stand the combat and dropping it after 10 hours. A decent amount of time before you realize I can't do this, but hey, you gave it a try, so
yeah, exactly.
I can't fault them for that.
So Pokemon combat is the only turn-based combat that I can consistently enjoy.
I can get that.
That's strange, I would say,
because I think that it's because I have the sort of the knowledge already there of how it works and the rock paper scissors, but it's complicated enough and engaging enough, but also not needlessly complicated and not as repetitive as a lot of those sorts of things.
Okay. From Kevin Belant, I didn't play these when they came out because I disliked Diamond/Pearl so much. I finally played White 5 years ago or so, and it's one of my favorite games in the entire series. Like you said, having used entirely new teams of Pokemon was such a cool idea, and the game as a whole was just so interesting and fun. This is a lot better than Pokemon Platinum, the Platinum series, or Gen. Like, I enjoyed this so much more in Platinum, and I like Platinum. Like, this, to me, there was something about this gen that just was miles better. I don't know what it is.
I also love Platinum.
Have you covered the Heart Gold and Soul Silver yet?
I need to do Pokemon Red and Blue, because I did Fire Red, and I need to do Soul Silver and Heart Gold. Those are on my list to get to.
Because a lot of people said that Heart Gold and Soul Silver were better than than the other Gen 4 games. And also, I remember listening to podcasts. We're at the point where there were podcasts about these games. I remember listening to podcasts when PKMN Cast was what it was called. But I remember listening when, I think technically it was when Black 2 came out, but they were still talking about Black and White 1 and 2, or Black and White 1. And at that point, the consensus was that Heart Gold and Soul Silver were the best Pokemon games. But and there was some disappointment that some functionality didn't carry over from those into the new games. So if you think that the people that are complaining that Scarlet and Violet don't have elements of Arceus in them are people who have original thoughts, gamers have always been saying these things.
Yeah.
You're not special.
I do want to play Gen 1 for this show at some point, and I do want to.
I would love to be on that episode.
You would be. You're two of my Pokemon guys.
Thank you.
So
Gen
don't
1
worry.
is the best. Gen 1 is my number one.
Same.
I don't know if I could say it's my number one, but it's like pretty fucking close.
Nostalgic for me.
I mean, yeah, like, no, I know that because, like, I also have, like, intense nostalgia for Gen 1, but it's just, like, I want to try my best to be, like, fair.
Right. No, I hear that. I think that so many of the generations after Gen 1 and Gen 5 is a notable exception, leans so heavily into the iconic Pokedex of Gen 1 that the fact that Gen 1 was able to generate all of those Pokemon that have, that remain, that have stood the test of time, very few Pokemon from Gen 2 and beyond are even 12-year-olds from today's favorite Pokemon,
Yeah.
Even if you started with Gen 4, there's a good chance that Psyduck is your favorite Pokemon.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's, but that's a story for another time.
All right. And from Nabil Azui, sorry I pronounced it wrong. I had fun playing through them, but honestly, the art style and music holds me back from enjoying them as much as I enjoy other gens. Same with the new Pokemon, just feeling mad to you for their stupidity high evolution levels. And from Lance Howard, I dropped off of Pokemon after Gold/Silver as I was in middle school and thought Pokemon was for little kids. So several years later, there was this coworker I had a crush on big time that was a huge Pokemon fan. I decided to see which version she was getting. I would get the other so we could battle and trade. That went nowhere at all. Whatever. Still friends with her, but it did rekindle my enjoyment of Pokemon for the most part. Played that, XY, and ORAS. Skipped a few generations, and the most recent one I played was Legend Arceus. I will probably pick up whatever the 10th gen version are, though, as I learned during ORAS that I can only stomach the formula so much. Fair. And from Kevin, I read that one. Okay, and then let's see from the next group I have. From the official Laser Time community, I got a couple. From Jordan Kirby, best Pokemon gen as a single player experience. Competitive has some problems this gen. Okay. From Joe Menivar, friend of the show. I remember there being a big thing about this game, potentially referencing 9/11. I don't think there was actually anything to it, just some city ruins in one corner of the map. I have no idea.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's interesting. Like I think there is like a demolished tower or something like that.
I think it's just people, stretching.
Well, but if it's supposed to be based on New York and there's a demolished tower,
okay,
and it came out 10 years after 9/11. I mean, maybe.
Oh.
Still think it's stretching, but could be.
There are bigger stretches, there are bigger stretches than other times. And I like little Pokemon fan theory things. That's fun. I might look into that more. I don't feel like there's that many after Gen 1. You had the Lavender Town, the people killed themselves suppously, and
you know what you're talking about,
and all that stuff. Yeah.
It was a strange
jumping back to the comment about the art style.
Yes,
I do remember not liking the art style 10 years ago or 15 years ago, whenever I played this originally. This time, I feel like it kind of blends in with all the other ones. Like it looks like a 3DS, or it looks like a DS game. Like
it looks like a Pokemon game.
It's like a little bit. Yeah, it looks like a Pokemon. Exactly, it looks like a Pokemon game. It's not exactly a Game Boy game, but it's sort of, I can see how they got from one place to from one to the other, and and where they go from there.
Right, and last comment from this group from Jason Flint. Black and White were my reintroduction of getting back into Pokemon after my last game I fully played through was Gold on the Game Boy Color. I agree, I enjoyed the vast majority of the design. The story was interesting and different enough from my expectations that I was surprised. I've dabbled since then, but haven't really played a new Pokemon during the launch window. I mean, me either, but I'm playing this years later.
Really,
and that's
ZA looks amazing.
And that's it. I posted in 2 other groups, but nobody commented. So
it's really interesting to me how many people are saying that they left after Gen 2 and came back at Gen 5 because that am me. And and so that means I'm not special. Not just other people.
I quit at Gen 2, but I didn't come back to Aloha for that gen. So
well, I think there's probably a lot of people who they quit and then as an adult came back at some point. A lot of people probably came back with Pokemon Go.
I did a lot. Pokemon Go really reignited my love for Pokemon again.
I remember explaining the concept of Pokemon evolution to a coworker after Pokemon Go came out, because so many people who just we're like elder millennials or late Gen Xers that were like just a little bit too old for Pokemon to hit, but they hadn't had kids who were into Pokemon yet. Just totally, their first experience was with Pokemon Go, and I always think back and get a kick out of it.
Don't forget that classic Pokemon Go line: "Pokemon go to the polls."
Pokemon go to the polls. Yep.
Maybe we should all grow up and go and Pokemon go to the polls.
Yeah. I do. I regret that I couldn't play Pokemon Go.
I wish more people had gone to the polls.
Yeah, same.
Me too. And I wish more people had gone recently for some reason, but
yeah, I know.
Yeah, or Roblox gone to the polls.
Or Fortnite gone to the polls, or whatever the fuck kids play nowadays.
What's the thing they're saying at the?
I don't know what
chicken. Isn't there a chicken thing that they're saying in the Minecraft movie?
Oh God, I don't know.
I can tell you tomorrow. I'm seeing that movie tomorrow.
I'm 35 years old. I have no fucking clue what the kids are doing today.
Bring a poncho is what I hear.
Yeah, bring a poncho. Jesus Christ.
I'm going with my son because he really wants to see it. And he's been excited to see it since he first saw the trailer. So that's why we're going.
I just hope I just hope no one in the audience is going to be fucking annoying because
I'm going in an early showing on a Monday. There'll be nobody there.
Okay, good. Thank God, because I don't want the movie ruined for your kid, because I know it'd be very special for him.
There'll be nobody there. I doubt there'll be anybody. I mean, I live in the city. There's so many theaters to go to. It's not like I live in the bumfuck nowhere. We only got one theater, 40 miles away. Phoebe.
It's like I said, I've seen those video clips online of people fucking just being super annoying in theaters, and I'm like,
yeah, no, he won't. He'll leave if people are making a lot of noise. He'll leave. He won't stick around. He's like, nope, we'll go. I'll go see a different time. But no, I'm not too worried. The area I'm at, I'll go because I did this for we saw. What the hell did we see together? Oh, we saw Brave New World together on a Monday matinee, and there was nobody there really.
Good.
There shouldn't have been either.
I hope your kid really enjoys it. I hope he has a nice time at the movie.
I think he will. He likes movies.
Yeah, good. That's good.
I don't know. I'm gonna enjoy it, but I ain't going for me, so it's okay.
No. Of course, you're being a good dad. Good for you.
Trying.
Aw.
Trying.
You'll love to hear it.
All right, I think we should let's give away a code. Let me see, because I actually just bought more codes recently too for $1. I'm not giving away those yet, but I did. But okay, the next code we're giving away is Starship Troopers Terran Command for Steam. I have no idea what this is, but here's your free code. The code is V6J2263ZDW. 90FHQ. That is your code for Starship Troopers Terran Command. Yeah, I have codes to give away. I always try to do that every episode, every regular episode. And let's go to Shelf Stacker Box. And Kyle, why don't you lead us in?
Sure. I'm going to say stack. I really enjoy this game. I really like it. And I love the things that changed up in the Pokemon universe. And I love that it started with a whole new Pokédex. I love that. Really appreciate when a Pokemon game does that. But it's not my favorite generation. It's good for what it is, but it's not my favorite. But I'm going to put it in stack.
Kendal.
This is so first of all, a long time ago, I broke the rules. I made my own rule and said that Pokemon games would go in console, and because so many of my Pokemon games, if I had a regular DS, there's a pretty good chance that this would be in console. Yeah, if I had a 3DS, it would not be in console because I think probably Gen 6. Well, I don't know. Gen 6 is lower on my list. I don't know. But it's a shelf. It's this is definitely one that is in my eventually revisit thing. And if I had a shelf of DS games or of video or of Pokemon games or whatever, like if I had a shelf where I was displaying games, as long as I had the case. Is there not case? I feel like for DS games there should be case because this goes in the case where you slide it in the thing. But yeah, you get what I'm saying. It's a good game.
I do. Okay, I'll go last. This is going on the shelf. I really had a great time with this game, and I'm not a big Pokemon guy, but I really enjoyed this game way more than I expected to, and I'm so happy that we played it for this podcast. Like, I really am happy that I was able to experience this game finally and experience it on legit hardware. That was really nice. So, yeah, going on the shelf, and I'm happy we played it. Like, I'm excited. Like I said, Black and White 2 was not on the schedule, and there is now. I took off something that I was also excited for, because I wanted to finish this gen out this year, and the next year Z and Y, or X and Y, but I gotta pick them up or emulate them one way or the other, so we'll see. But, yeah. It's probably, I want to do those, because I've heard nothing but good things about that gen, but I don't know if I'm going to pick it up or not. We'll see. I might buy it. Didn't look terribly expensive. I mean, Nintendo will surprise me and re-release it so I can easily get it on like a Switch or something. That would be nice, Nintendo. Are you going to be nice, Nintendo? Huh?
So X and Y, the nice thing about X and Y is wherever they're available, even though you can only get the original now, they were available digitally for years in the 3DS marketplace, which I would imagine is that, yes, I know that it's gone now. It's got, but if you had it on the thing, but I would imagine that means that there were more copies for a long time. It was probably also
it's not
for a long time.
Nearly as expensive as it's not crazy expensive. It's like $50 on eBay or so. So not not as crazy as you can get with Pokemon games. Like $45 for someone selling it factory sealed. That's probably pirate. That doesn't sound legit there. I mean, possible, but that seems a little. A lot of people are selling for $40, brand new. That seems weird.
Sounds about right. Yeah, because it was in print for probably 6 or 7 years, so there's probably a lot of copies of it around. Unlike Heart Gold and Soul Silver and probably Black and White and Black and White 2, since they were at the end of that console's life cycle, they probably only printed so many copies of them. And then,
Yeah, it won't be that hard. So I might pick up a legit copy, because it is nice playing on the 3DS. Like, that is a nice feeling. And I really want to play Pokemon X and Y. Okay, Omega Ruby, and it looks like that one's expensive.
Well, luckily, that one is skipped. I don't want to say it's bad, but it's, yeah. But yeah, you definitely want original hardware for X and Y.
Because, never mind, those aren't expensive either.
Because the circle, the little circle thing that you use instead of a D-pad on the thing works amazingly with the rollerblades in X and Y, which is one of the best parts of that whole game. So yeah, if you can play it on original hardware, I would strongly recommend that.
Okay, we'll see. That might happen next year, or we might do her with skip. I don't know. I don't really feel like skipping a gen and playing Pokemon Sun or Moon, because I have those next to me. But we'll see. We'll get there. We'll figure. That's next year's problem, not this year's problem. So, all right, I should mention what we're talking about next week. Next week, you can hear me talk about Lego Lord of the Rings. Because I want to. So that is next week's episode.
Sounds fun.
It's still fun. I just beat it earlier today. So you hear, and then I guess just go to plugs. And Kendall, where can people find you at?
So you can find everything I do at kendalcast.ninja. Also, Kendalcast Network on YouTube. I do, in addition to the Beyond Bulbasaur podcast that I mentioned earlier, we've got the Kendalcast Movie Roundtable, which is, it's exactly what it sounds like. We pick a movie every month and review it. And
argue with Kendall. Don't forget that part.
Yeah. Although there's not as much arguing these last few months because Jeff has not been participating. Yeah, the Kendalcast Movie Roundtable. Also, the Poll List podcast is a comic book podcast where we talk a little bit about new comics, and then we have been reading older comics lately. The last few episodes have been discussing Brian Michael Bendis' Ultimate Spider-Man. I also do a bunch of stuff with the Star Wars customizable card game, and do some video game content on my on my YouTube channel as well, which is the KendalCast Network YouTube. And you can find all the podcasts on your podcatchers. KendalCast Network is the podcast feed. And then there is one for Beyond Bulbasaur that's you can listen to all of them on the master feed, or you can listen to the individual. Anyway, yeah, that's how podcasts work.
Yes, it is. And Kyle.
Well, you can find me on my podcast, the Unidentified Flying Obsession Podcast, or the UFO Podcast. You can also find me on Blue Sky at ChibiUFO, ChibiUFO.bsky.social. You can find me on there too as well.
All right. And you will see links to all these gentlemen's podcasts. Definitely go check out their stuff. If you want to support the show, if you want to be on the show, we have a Discord. It's free. Join our Discord. We're always happy to have new people talk with us, chat with us. So that's where if you want to be on the show, that's how you can do it, because I post on there for people to join episodes and all things. If you want to support the show, we do have a Patreon. Little Dog, you can vote in our Patreon poll. We're always happy to have new people join and support the show. Great, because things that go on the polls might not always come back. You never know with me. I can be kind of picky sometimes with stuff like that. So definitely go do that. Want to give a shout out to my awesome intro and outro courtesy of Elena at Hell Hash Freak. Follow her on TikTok and Instagram. Definitely go check her out, and check out A Gamer Looks at 40 with Bill Tucker. He's talking Final Fantasy for now still. Check out his podcast. And check out the absolutely the best podcast, A Work in Progress. They look at the MCU movies and MCU adjacent movies. They're actually pretty. He's just about to finish Phase 4, so they're getting into the really good stuff. So check out their podcast. Zach's in the show all the time. Yeah, she was on an episode I just recorded yesterday. So check out his show. And please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, YouTube, audio only, TikTok. I post some things on there. And rate and reviews wherever you get your podcast. I think it's everything I need to say. So we will see you guys all next time. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.